So I think I'm probably just going to do a trip retrospective so far, because, I said I wanted to do park pet peeves with Knott's, so that's what I'll start with. So, Knott's Berry Farm has normalized line jumping. Like, it's totally normal and totally accepted for someone to leave the line, go to the bathroom, get some food, ride something else, and then say, my friends are up there. And everyone is just like, fine, go ahead. And there was one instance where someone was even like, but my family's up there, but they were holding the spot for me. And I'm like, I don't care. I've never been to a park that allows line jumping. Respect my fucking place in line. How is that normal? How is it normal that line jumping is a thing like that at Knott's? Let me just put it this way to show what a problem this is. So, when I did my trip to Lake Compounce in May, about a year ago, I went on a Friday in May. So, on that Friday in May, it was like 4 season pass holders or something. There were 4 cars in the parking lot, literally. Then the park was absolutely slammed with school field trips for like 3 hours out of the day. Now, there was still plenty of time for season pass holders to enjoy the rides without lines, but when those kids were resulting in the park being slammed with there being so many of them, line jumping was not the issue that it is at Knott's Berry Farm. It's really just so irritating that this is an issue. And you know why the parks don't do anything about line jumping? I'm just going to tell you, there's a very real reason why they don't do anything about line jumping. So basically, who is the target customer of these parks? It's families. It's large groups. Who's likely to be line jumping? Families and large groups. So, if these parks enforced their rules about line jumping and said, respect someone's place in line, you have to wait like everybody else, that's going to alienate their top customer base. So, it's just really a pet peeve of mine that has to be an issue. And I'm just going to say, this is on top of the fact that when I was at Knott's today, hang time closed for wind. Coast Rider, not Ghost Rider, Coast Rider, the wild mouse that everyone says is horrible, closed for wind. It's just a thing where I'm like, really? So, I get that you can't control the weather. I just want to preface that. But having your rides closed like that, having people line jumping, and by the way, so much for being like, oh, I'm going on a Monday because I don't want there to be crowds. Knott's Berry Farm today was one of the busiest parks I've ever been to. I'm not exaggerating. Now, that does have to do with the fact that apparently there was this festival going on that I didn't know about going in. To some extent, I feel like it's a bit of a Coaster Studios goes to Universal Studios Japan moment, because I know that he talked about how he went on a national holiday and didn't know about it. and the park was slammed as a result. But anyway, now let's talk about the positives from this trip overall. So even at Knott's today, I'll say Ghost Rider, stellar night rides. Silver Bullet, I've got some nostalgia for it from Brain Rush and it being featured on Life After People as one of their landmarks. So it was cool to get to experience those. And like as for Magic Mountain, you probably heard me raving about it in my shorts, but I am just gonna say the park thoroughly impressed me. Six Flags Magic Mountain did. Where, like, not only were the coasters great, which is something I was expecting, but they were also doing really well in the little things. Like, they were not enforcing any locker policies. They had, how shall I say this, a diverse offering of food for people who might have dietary issues. They were running multiple trains on most of their attractions. Like, really stuff that parks should just be doing, but unfortunately it just has to be said that they deserve credit for doing that, because it's not a given that parks will do that. Especially the not enforcing a locker policy thing. Now, on the diverse food offerings, I want to give a huge shout out to the acai bowls that they had in the park. Those are probably well, I will say, as for where the vendor is the park themselves, those are definitely the best food I have had at an amusement park. And like, I mean, I never thought that I'd be saying in a video that the food from a Six Flags park was actually really good. But I will say, if this is Salim, then it's an unpopular opinion in the coaster community, but he's improving the park in a positive way if that's his doing. Also, I noticed there was a good amount more theming than there usually is at most Six Flags parks at Magic Mountain. So, I mean, we'll probably end the video on a positive note with my raving about Magic Mountain. And here I am. I'm probably going to go back to Knott's tomorrow, even though I didn't have even close to as good of a day there, because, well, I want to ride Hang Time. I want to give the park a more fair shake, because apparently, like, before festival people got there, before kids on spring break got there, you were able to ride a ton of stuff. So I'm probably going to go to Knott's again tomorrow for when they open. I have not decided what I'm going to do in the afternoon. I may very well go to the two San Diego parks with SeaWorld and Belmont, but then again, after doing Knott's, I might want to just relax for a little bit. After doing Knott's for a couple hours, I might just come back here to my hotel to relax for a little bit, because, well, I'm starting a new job and I will have to be there early on Thursday. Like, I mean, it's not early relative to the time that they gave me, but it's definitely early relative to the time zone that I'm in. So, yeah, I have to